Okay. Are we on this thing on? It's on. What's up, y'all? My name is Shantanique Langston, also known as Nick Speaks. I'm your personal and professional relationship coach. Welcome to another episode of Candid Conversations. Listen, my bad, y'all. It's been really, really ghetto. If you are a teacher, educator in the field, it's been crazy. After our last conference, I did not come on YouTube to give you guys a recap. It's been a lot of stuff happening, but we made it to the
Yeah.
end of the school year. I'm jealous because y'all out. You're out.
Official on Tuesday.
Okay, and not for me.
Whoa.
I have a field trip on Tuesday,
Oh,
but here we are. We're here tonight. Listen, we are getting ready for our next event. That is, of course, in response to our conference back in the spring. We have we've done so much in the past, and so now God has given me a strategic plan for us moving forward with just this part of the conference. So we'll be doing multiple things throughout the year. So our first conference we talked about in March, we talked about overcoming generational trauma, and so trauma is a lot. And so now we're going to go into the second piece where we want to dive deeper into not sort of just conversation about trauma, but also giving you some tools you can use live during our virtual summit in October. And so this time we're going to be giving you guys during our episodes some key tools you can use until October, until we dive into it a little bit more. But I'm excited. Of course, you guys know Vanessa. She is not a stranger at all. Okay, she's been with us since 2018. I'm so happy to have her on tonight, and we're going to be talking about how to communicate with women, men. Listen, listen, Linda. Listen. You don't have to worry no more. You don't have to be confused anymore. You don't have to be wondering or making indecisive moves. You don't have to worry about rejection because this is a safe space. We are here to help you. And Vanessa has 25 years of experience, okay,
yeah.
with communicating to her husband, okay? And I know she's going to be sharing some things. So I want to give you guys some insight. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and give it over to Vanessa to introduce herself, who she is, and all the great things. So go ahead, Vanessa. Take it away.
Good evening, everyone. Yes, my name is Vanessa Carter. And I was just having this conversation with my husband, Lewis. Like, how long have we been together with the relationship conference? He says 17. So it's 18. He's good with dates, pretty good with dates. So we were just trying to figure that all out. So we've been together almost 8 years now. So I am very excited to still be moving forward and progressing with the relationship conference. My name is Vanessa Carter. As Shantanique stated, yes, June 26th will be year 25 for me with being married. It's just been a journey. I'm happy about it. 4 children in, 2 grandchildren, 25 years in education, classroom teacher to administrative position, back into the classroom, and just excited about tonight.
Yes, I am excited again, like I said, to have you be a part and just seeing, the progress of the conference, my own personal journey, and my singleness, and of course, watching you all has inspired me to continue to work on myself and to be content in my singleness. That's a whole nother piece that I'll be talking about during the summit in October. So let's dive right into it. I want to ask you, what is communication?
So when I looked at that question, it came to me that communication is being able to express verbally feelings about different situation, and also being able to listen to hear the other individual's conversation as well. And then I looked a little deeper too. I'm like, well, let me look, because the base word in communication is commune, and the definition for commune was to talk together, usually with profound intensity and interchange of thoughts and feelings. So with communicating, it's all about how you perceive things, what you're thinking and what you're feeling when you're communicating with someone. So that's the definition that I have for that.
Oh, I love that because that's going to go into what I'm going to be sharing a little bit later. So I want to just give some background context because this is information I'm going to be sharing during the conference with our overall audience about communication before we do breakouts. So I want to tell our men and women that cultural conditioning is one of the leading reasons why men and women have a hard time with communicating. So men have an issue with they're suppressing their feelings. They feel like they can't be vulnerable enough to speak to us because as a child, as children, men are socially or socialized from a young age to suppress their emotions,
Mhm.
right? Or a man might say, don't cry, take it like a man at 5 years old. But that kid is still learning how to cope and understand his emotions. But again, he doesn't know because he's a kid, right? But someone has conditioned that man when he was a kid to do the same thing, and that goes back, back to the beginning of time. So that's one reason why men have a hard time when it comes to opening up and being vulnerable because again they have been suppressed for years. You have women who've been suppressed by their mamas growing up. Okay, that mother-daughter rivalry started happening way back then. It didn't just start now. You see women who are trying to compete with other women. That didn't just start now. We were suppressed way back when. Okay, and not just with white men saying, Jim Crow. We got to get out of that mentality because we got to change that. How do we change that? So we're gonna dive into that a little bit tonight. So I want to ask you, I'm jumping a little bit. How have you evolved in the area of communication? I want to know how you evolved as a single person first. Yeah, I know that's a long time ago, but at the same time, even though you're married, you're still a single person, you're still an individual. How have you evolved in that area?
So I think I've always been the expressive, being able to express myself. And then like even just being single, the emotions are, heavy, when communicating. And I would say how I have evolved. I took a class a couple years ago, and the title of that class was Communicating. And one of the books that was passed out was How to Have the Courageous Conversation. And one of the things I would say, like earlier on in my marriage, I wasn't communicating effectively. So whenever I would get upset or angry, I would shut down and I would do the silent treatment. I wouldn't talk. And it started a whole nother um, display of energy that didn't have to be. But growing to know that you can't shut down when it's time for you to communicate. And I'm so grateful for that course because it allowed me to see that when you're having a conversation or you're communicating, one of the things that you want to always do is state the facts, be true to the facts on what it is, because you can't negotiate facts is facts. It's like it happened, this is what it is. So a lot of times with communicating, like I said, you got to be able to state the facts. And if you're ever in a situation where you're communicating and you feel and you're not feeling safe, stepping away from that conversation until you're ready to come back. And the biggest thing, like I stated earlier, with being single, two was those emotions. Like as women, we are emotional anyways. So getting a guard on those emotions. And one of the things that I've evolved, like I said, being able to communicate is being able to state the facts and also removing the emotions out of the picture.
Yes, that is so key. And I like what you said. You learned this early on in your singleness. And I always tell women like, hey, in your singleness, how do you show up, with your cousins, your uncles, your brothers, your male friends? How do you communicate with them? Because that's your test right there. You
And then
know.
too, if I can just jump right back in too with
Mhm.
that, Shantanique, a lot of times we as women and men we lose our voice. And somewhere along the line, someone may have made a statement or made a comment to us where we don't want to share. We don't want to communicate. And you have to, gravitate back to like grabbing your voice and saying, like, this is how I feel. I'm not dealing with this. I'm not accepting that. And it's okay,
Yeah,
to set up those boundaries and to speak your truth, what that is, or whatever that may be.
that is good. That is good right there. Oh Lord, now I just lost my thought. Jesus, what I was gonna say after that. Um, Father, that's all right. I do like what you said though, because oftentimes when we shut down or when we think about what someone has said to us, we begin to live that out. Never um give into what someone's perception of you. Never live it, never go grow into that. Like, you know the truth about yourself. And so men, like this again, this conversation is for men. We want you to understand that, okay, yes, you were suppressed, okay, as a kid, but what can you do differently? What can you do now? And the one thing I will say is to learn to be open to communication and know that your voice matters, your feelings matter. Okay, there are so many women out there who laugh at men who cry, and that's because they have not been, they've been conditioned, just like men, been suppressed, right? They have not seen an example of a man, cry, or a man express themselves, and that is okay. Because a lot, again, in our households, we've grown up knowing one thing, but it has not helped, is not healthy. We've seen our homes being suppressed and full of toxicity, because that's the norm. When
And I,
toxicity is the norm in your house, it's hard for you to break away from it. But that's why we're having conversations, and we're having the conference and the summit to help people come out of that in order to have healthy relationships. Like, we see men want to have healthy relationships, but they're like, okay, what do I got to do? But I'm shy. I don't know how to speak. What do I say? So then I hear this all the time. What do I say? How do I approach a woman? So I want to ask you now, um, what is your advice for men who may feel that they have lost their voice or don't have a voice in a relationship or in their relationship?
what advice would I give to a man in regards to not feeling that they have something to say in a relationship?
Yeah, so man, even when it comes to a man who may want to um, court or even take someone out, because there's a lot of men out there who would pass good women because they may feel inadequate. So what can we tell them tonight to give them the confidence they need? Because
I
a lot
would
of them just lack
say
confidence sometimes.
be true to yourself and know, like, you can, have that conversation. And if it's somebody that you want to go after, like, I look at my husband and how he pursued me. Like, he was real confident and adamant about, like, he knew what he wanted and he went after it and he got it. He didn't let down. So my advice to you men is, there is a young lady that you are pursuing, pursue it, do it. It may be one of the best things that you could have ever done. Don't doubt yourself, and just be true. Like, if you see a woman that catches your eye, say something to her. You never know, she may be feeling the same way about you.
That is so good. And I always tell men, like, you need to be praying and asking the Lord to show you how to show up,
Hmm.
how to present yourself, because a lot of men, they lack that relationship with the Lord. Like, they like that trust. Like, can He really help me in this area? Like, why
Yeah.
do I gotta pray about this? Same thing with women when they're dealing with some men that are not really where they think it should be. You need to be talking to the Lord about helping you to give the man some grace. And
Yeah.
fellas, give yourself some grace too, because you don't know it all. We don't know it all. But I
Right.
also tell women this too. When you see a man who's struggling, he's trying to communicate with you, extend that grace. Help.
Yeah, take the time to listen,
Yes,
what they may have to say. Or, I think the biggest thing is they're already coming with all kinds of maybe things or thoughts in their mind, and just be there to listen. Like, give them a chance.
Yes,
A lot of
because
times we miss out as women because we have a certain picture or thing in our head what a guy should look like, what it should be like. Gentleman made a comment the other week, I forget where I was, and he was like, you women nowadays, you looking for men to be 6 feet tall, have six figures and 12 inches, and it's like, whoa, you gotta, hey, slow it down, give the guy opportunity.
yeah, and then stop listening to everything you hear on social media. That's not realistic. It takes work. Like if you want a relationship to work, you have to open up your mouth. You have not because you ask not. You have to open up your mouth. No one's going to just come to you and say, "Hi, how are you doing?" They're not going to do that. So you need to be inviting too, ladies. I tell you all this all the time. Be inviting, but I want to hold that for Lewis because Lewis going to be ripping it. I already know when it comes to the women
He's
because
ready right now.
see, oh Lord, I know. He was ready on the call last week. Like, hold on, bro. Don't get into us too fast. And I love that because everyone's on fire and we're ready to serve, right?
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. And then a few things I wanted to share before we log off is one way to improve your communication. So one thing, and I say this all the time: be an active listener. I remember my former first lady. She said in her message that the truth about the becoming the master of listening creates a better sense of communication. So that's the key. The key to effective communication is becoming the master of listening. And
Hmm.
so people say that all the time about me. Like one thing they can say about Neek is that she is a good listener.
Yeah.
And one of my friends said, Neek, people are just drawn to you because you're great at listening. So what does that mean to somebody who's not really a good listener? So I want to dive deep into that. So the number one thing is be present.
Hmm.
Hello. Being
Yes.
present. You talked about that a little bit. Being focused and not distracted when
Hmm.
that person is talking to you because you want to make sure that you're getting all the information so you can process it and then be able to respond effectively to them. So again, and make sure you have a genuine interest. This is why we do what we do. We want to help you create the genuine connections, and not everybody is able to communicate this way or be a listener. Um, Number two, be willing to reflect and clarify. So while you're listening, get information so that when you rephrase the information that's given to you, they know, oh, they're listening to me. They're really taking in what I need. So fellas, this is information that you can use when you are looking to communicate effectively, whether it's with a significant other, your friends, your family. These are great keys to use. Um, Number three, respond with empathy. So this is something that men can be doing. Some men don't know how to do this because no one's modeled this in their life. So empathy, if you don't know what empathy means, it just means that you are able to understand where someone is coming from. Not all the time you have to be in their shoes, but just listening to get understanding and to put yourself in their shoes, that gives you that takes a level of emotional intelligence where you are putting yourself in their shoes.
Hmm.
That's what empathy means if people don't know, and that's okay. So make sure you are listening to be empathetic to them so you can tell them that you hear them and you understand where they're coming from. So I hope this is helping our fellas because we want you to be able to respond to us um, in such a way so that we feel safe.
Yeah.
Um, Also, avoid interrupting. Let her say what she got to say. Okay? And she should have the same respect for you because sometimes we don't like to hear something. As women, we say we want to hear the truth. That's not always true.
No, you don't want to hear the truth.
Now some of us do. I know I'm one person that want to hear it, so then I know how I need to move.
That's
Okay?
not true.
And that's just the honest to God truth. And that sometimes that may come off kind of strong or we'll say arrogant. but that's not what it just is what it is. I need to know so I know how I need to move. It's
Right.
not so much about me closing down on you. I just need to know how I should move going forward. And there's nothing wrong with getting the clarity. That's what I said. That's what I said earlier. Making sure that we are um, listening, not to respond, but listening to understand, so that we know how to move. Okay, so that's one thing. And then
Not and
you want
also
to add to that?
not being caught up, not it goes back to the feelings too. Once you hear the truth, like don't get caught up in your feelings. Just make the adjustments and carry on.
Yes, because sometimes men don't are not honest because of that fear of rejection.
Hmm.
Oh, she's gonna move different. You don't know what she's gonna do. Stop assuming and just do it and see what happens. And if
Hmm.
that person does move a certain way that you may not like, that doesn't mean that it's the end of the world. You gotta
Yes.
learn from it. You gotta learn in order to grow. And I'm gonna tell you right, I tell my students, if you are not honest, no one's going to trust you.
No.
So you got to be honest, okay?
Yes.
And these particular tips they help to create a safe and supportive environment. Okay, fellas, this helps create that safe environment. And I do want to ask the men tonight: are you a safe space? Have you created a safe space in your life for you? So you saying, you want a woman who bring you peace? Do you already have that?
Right.
That is the truth. Like, have you really thought about that? So I want you to think about that tonight and know that this opens up the door for effective communication and also creates meaningful connections, whether it's with a woman, whether it's to maybe reconcile with a family member, and so on and so forth. So those are the tips I wanted to give you guys um, tonight. And I wanted to ask you before we go, what is why should people attend the virtual men's and women's summit? It's a lot when you're going down, but I want you to tell the people.
So we have so many things that are happening, and I would just even just speak about the last summit that we had. Oh, it was just so powerful. Just even from the conversations and the different topics. One of the things he's going to be on the platform as well. In the next one will be Andre, and some of the nuggets and tips that he dropped, it helped me. It was something that I could walk away with, in changing and adjusting, as a wife, and how I, dealt with my husband. So just it's so many things. It's, oh my gosh, you won't leave the same as you came. It's a wonderful experience. And each time that I've attended a conference, a summit, it's always just been great meeting new people, making, just new relationships. It's all about relationships, the relationship conference. So it's just going to be great. So I would advise you to come and to bring a friend. You'll be forever changed.
Yes. So we have not opened registration just yet. So in the next 2 weeks, we should have everything ready for you guys to go ahead and to sign up. I'm going to try my best to put the description in the description, or the link to get on the waiting list under the description below this video, so that you guys are a part. You see the countdown of us putting up the information. We have some new speakers who are going to be joining us this time around, and I'm excited. We're going to go into a little deeper um, conversation and of course, we'll have some hands-on um, scenarios and activities that you can do with us virtually. We had a lot of feedback that came back from our conference, and they all said, "Can we get some hands-on? Can we get some role playing going?" So I'm excited to bring that into the space, and the collaborators are all for it. So we're going to have some stretching, some meditation. We're going to have some fitness. We're going to have, of course, finance again with Desi. And then, of course, we have our trauma release and our trauma conversations, our men breakout, our women's breakout sessions. And we're going to be diving in on some serious topics that's going to help navigate the rest of your year. So we're excited once again. I want you guys to make sure you stay tuned. We have another segment coming up on the 21st of this month, and we're talking about how to overcome childhood trauma. So we want you guys to join us back again on June 21st at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube and Facebook Live. Did you have anything else you wanted to share with the people?
Nope.
All right. Well, there. All right. Well, there you guys have it. Thank you all so much. Y'all have a good weekend, and I will talk to you all in my next video.
See you.